right, Chef and Builder JD Pendleton, we're back in the kitchen where we're going to make something good in our bread machine. That's right, it's this week's bread series bread recipe. And today's recipe, my favorite homemade pizza dough. Except this time, I'm going to mix it and I'm going to raise it, one time raising it, in the bread machine. So grab a pen and paper and let's get started. While it's mixing, I'm going to paint my kitchen. Good day. So somebody asked me, how tall is your kitchen? Do you even have a ceiling? I'm going to show that to you. I have a ceiling. I have a ceiling. I have a ceiling. I have a ceiling. Okay, the ingredients for my pizza dough is very simple. If you want to make it gluten-free, be sure and use a gluten-free flour mix. You can even use the glutino, gluten-free white bread. But we are not going gluten-free today. Like I said, just exchange the flours and just add enough flour till you get it so it's not too sticky. All right. In this, we're going to be using bread flour, all-purpose flour, salt, sugar, yeast, and oil. Now you can use the olive oil, you can use the vegetable oil, or even grapeseed oil, even canola oil. It doesn't matter. I mix mine. I use a little pure vegetable and a little olive oil. All right, and that's the ingredients. And now we'll be right back to get this started. I forgot to mention this also takes 1.5 cups of warm water, and be sure and use your thermometer. Get our water at right around 110 to 115 degrees. And remember, you can roll some of this up into breadsticks, so you can make a double batch of this and make 2 pizzas. This is my recipe also for panzerottis, anything along that line. First thing we're going to do, as per usual, we're going to wash our hands really well. And we're going to sterilize our countertop. I'm going to need a warm towel for covering the dome while this is raising. See our temperature of our water. And I just heated mine up in the electric tea kettle. Oh, got a little bit too hot. I'm at 120. All right, by the time I add that, that will be fine because my water in our DAK machine goes in last. So let's get started. This is a DAK Turbo Baker 2, but this recipe works in any 1.5 pound machine. All right, 1.5 pound bread machine. Now I've got a lot of you out there that's been competing against me and buying these machines, and I think that is just awesome. When I see someone else bidding on it, I think it might be one of my viewers. I'm not going to bid on it because I want them to get a really good deal on it. So, but I will tell you that I picked all of mine up for $39 to $40 each. And that was only with $12 shipping to $15 shipping. All right? So if you paid more than that for it, I hope it better have came with an instruction booklet and some recipes. Because, ouch. And it better be like new. Now they've got 2 brands of these. One's called a Well-Built. That's W-E-L-B-I-L-T. There's no U in built. It's just B-I-L-T, Well-Built. And then there is the DAK, the D-A-K, all capital letters, D-A-K. And this is the Turbo Baker 2. So you can see here that it looks like R2-D2. All right, I don't think that's an R2-D2 sound, but anyway. Now what we've done here, and I'm just going to go over this with you really quickly again. So we've cleaned this up. This post has a thermometer in it. Now some of them actually have a post inside the bowl, and that is a thermometer. So, so we're going to put on the rubber ring. Make sure to get the rubber ring that fits your unit. The back of the bowl, it has a flat side right here. That's just so the blower fits on it properly. There's only one way to put this in, and when it seats, give it a turn. And don't forget the paddle. Matter of fact, don't ever forget the paddle. Make a note and write it on your hand if you have to. Don't forget the paddle, because this paddle comes out even in the bread when you're baking. And somebody just asked me on the online here, how many DAK machines and well-built machines. Okay, how many machines of these did I buy? I bought 4 of them, one for each of my children, and then I bought another one for parts of each kind. So I did buy some for parts. Just in case somebody's breaks down, I'll have a way to help them fix it. So the first thing you want to do is have your ingredients ready. And we're going to combine all the ingredients in a large bowl, or in this case, in our bread machine. So this recipe can be done by hand, and you hand knead it, or it's going to be done in the machine. I usually hand make it, but today I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to let the machine do the mixing and the kneading and the raising, the first round of raising for me. Okay, we're going to start out by putting the yeast in first. And this calls for 2 teaspoons of yeast. That's 2 teaspoons of yeast. We're putting that around the outer edges there. And I always add about 1/4 teaspoon more when I'm doing it in the machine. Sorry, my fireplace went down and my husband's fixing my fireplace for me. So you might hear the doors open and shut a few times here. Okay, so since we're starting in the DAK with the dry ingredients, your bread machine may require for you to start with the wet ingredients first. That's why I said write the ingredients down before you start. Read the directions on your machine. Actually, the DAK works either way. I can do it either way, especially since I'm not going to wait a few hours and set the timer on this for this to do this, you know, in the morning or in the evening while I'm at work. I'm going to go ahead and do it now, so I can do it either way. And I'm just going to put in a pinch of salt. I like mine to have more of a salty flavor. That's a total of 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Now sugar. Sugar all depends on your taste and what you like. I like my dough a little sweet, so 1 teaspoon is what it requires. I go for the other 1/2 teaspoon of sugar, and it really helps my yeast to activate as well. So this requires 3 cups of flour to start out with, and I'm going to start with getting those extra glutens in here by using enriched bleached flour. I'm sorry, this is enriched unbleached bread flour. So enriched unbleached bread flour. I'm only going to use 1/2 cup of this. This gives me extra glutens. And I'm just going to put in that little bit of bread flour, just like that right there. It's fine. You don't have to intermix it with the regular flour. And you can add some wheat flour to this. Now next we're going to add all-purpose flour, and I need 2.5 cups of that. I knew I was going to use up this flour quickly, so I didn't even bother about putting it in my container. Oh Lord, I hope I got enough. Okay, looks like I will. Okay, so here's 1. There we go. Here's 2. That makes me 2.5 so far. I gotta have another 1/2 cup. And again, you can add some whole wheat flour to this. You can add some more bread flour to this. So I need another 1/2 cup to make this an even 3 cups. Man, I was cutting that close on the flour, wasn't I? Okay, there we go. And yes, this does need to be pretty accurate. So again, I'm just going to kind of blend that out just a little bit. Now we might need this extra flour, and you can use the bread flour for that if you need it. Okay, so we have our salt, we have our sugar, we have our yeast. Now we just need our water and our oil. I'm going to mix the 2. And it calls for 1 tablespoon of oil. I put in 1 tablespoon of the oil, of the vegetable oil, and I put in 2 teaspoons of the olive oil, the extra virgin olive oil, just because that's the taste that I really like, but I don't like it to be too strong. And I like oil in my dough. I like it to really raise and be a really soft dough. If you don't like that super soft raised dough, then reduce your oil down to 1 tablespoon. It took so long I had to add a little bit of hot water back into this. Okay, so we are at about 115 degrees. That's perfect. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pour in 1.5 cups of warm water. You can use warm tap water. Just learn to know what that temperature is on your finger. And if you're like me and I've been in construction so long, I have to use a thermometer just based on the fact that I can't feel my fingertips that well. There's nothing else that we need to do except for to close the lid. We got our temperature, we got our clock set here for 3:42 in the afternoon. This should be ready, perfect timing for supper. And again, we can make panzerottis with these, pan pizzas, thin and crispies, fried pizza pockets, breadsticks. There's all kinds of things we can do with this recipe. It's a very versatile recipe, okay? So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and put it on manual, and I'm going to hit start. This will give me the first raising, and it will beep and it will let me know. Steam in here so you can see it a little better. There we go. That looks really, really good. Now, it's steaming like that, that's good. Keep that dome lid down. It's cleaning the sides. I'm only opening it for the sake for you to be able to see inside. Other than that, you don't really want to do that. That looks good. That looks perfect. It's cleaned all the flour out of that. I might put just a little bit on there to help clean the sides a little better. Just a little drop of flour. There we go. Look at that. Woo! Looks good. All right. We're going to let this hand knead. We're going to let this raise if you want to. Again, you can just do the mixing in here and you can hand knead it. And it's always good to do things by hand so you learn how to do it. Now, if you're like me and when you're raising bread and you don't keep your house really super warm in the winter, it's 14 degrees outside today. And I can just turn on my oven light. Just turn on your oven light and stick your bread in there and set your timer for about 20-25 minutes and go check on it. Go check on that raising. Let it double in the oven with just an oven light on with the door closed, and it'll be nice and toasty warm in there. It's perfect temperature with the oven light on for raising bread. But this has the heating element in it, and it will click off and on just enough to keep this nice and warm inside. And the moisture in the dome really is nice for this pizza bread as well. Now, I only opened it and let the heat escape, duh, so that way you could see inside. But other than that, I would not have opened this up at all. So do as I say and not as I do. But what good is it of us watching it if we can't see it for the video purposes, right? At about this stage right here, you could go ahead and open this up, wrap this up in plastic wrap, like a little bit of oiled or PM sprayed plastic wrap, and you could put this in the refrigerator and then wait until tomorrow. You can even freeze this recipe. So you could go ahead and make up several batches of these, put it in the freezer, take it out, thaw it, and then let it raise in the oven with the light on, one raising, and then work it into pizzas later. So this is a freezable recipe as well. Another reason why I put more oil in it, because that actually helps it to freeze better. Anyway, I hope this bread series, I hope it's helping you break your machine back out again. Learn how to use it. Don't give up on it. There's so much you can do with your bread machine. Let it do the work for you. I mean, I love to hand knead bread. I love to sit here and hand knead bread. So making bread homemade, just the old-fashioned way is me. It's a great workout, a really, really great way to get your workout and to get rid of some of those tensions. But there's a lot of people that might have arthritis, or maybe they have fibromyalgia, something along that line, and they could really use a machine like this. And the Turbo Baker, they quit making these in the late 90s. The thing about this is that this will handle the tougher, heavier bread doughs. And it makes a 1.5-pound bread instead of a 1-pound loaf of bread. And I love the round coffee can shape of bread. If you've ever had coffee can bread, no, it doesn't have coffee in it. It's just baked in a coffee can. And those 1-pound loaves of bread. And I have a really good recipe for that as well. So the only thing I have to do now is think about what kind of pizza I'm going to make. Do I want a traditional pizza? Do I want maybe like a pineapple and ham pizza? Or like a chicken barbecue pizza? Am I making you hungry? That's the purpose of this video. So break out your bread machines or break out those muscles and make some homemade pizza dough. The kids can do this. You can do this with the kids. They love this kind of thing. They love making homemade pizza. And it's so much cheaper than buying it out. Pizzas here run around $15 to $25 for a medium to large pizza. That's absolutely ridiculous when you can make it at home and have fresh ingredients for yourself. Okay, I feel like this is kneaded enough, so I'm going to go ahead and hit stop. I'm going to open this up. Oh, that feels wonderful. And you can go ahead and put a little bit of extra oil in here. I'm going to do that now. I'm just going to oil the pan with my hand just a little bit here. And I'm going to give the dough a turn. I'm going to show you the texture of this if you do decide to hand knead it. Let me put you up here just a little bit. Just a little bit of flour on here, okay? A nice, look how soft this dough is. It's just a nice soft dough. Now, of course, the machine's already kneaded it, so it's not necessary. But if you do, remember, just a little flour at a time if you need to add it. Just a little at a time. This is going to be an excellent dough. I'm extremely pleased with it. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to oil this pan just a little bit. I spilled the oil. It shouldn't be any problem putting some in here. Not necessary to oil the pan, but I'm going to oil the pan and kind of clean up the sides here just a little bit. There we go. I'm going to put this back in its, there you go, it raise outside of that. I oiled this just a little bit, not necessary, but I did. And just a nice, look at that, just a nice soft bread. All right, so we're going to shut the lid down on this. Just more than doubled. And then I'm going to shape this into our pizzas. We'll be back. All right, our bread dough has risen. It looks awesome. Bring it out just like this. All right, just going to take a cookie sheet. We're just going to spread just a little bit of olive oil on here. You can do butter, you can butter spray, you can even do a combination of both. I use real butter. And we're just going to get this nice and oily on the bottom, just the way I like it. And again, that's just a little olive oil, and I even get the little edges right here so the pizza comes off here a lot easier. Good. We have our pizza bread dough, and I'm just going to take it, I'm just going to drop it right here directly onto the pan, just like that right there. Perfect. See how oily how nice that came out? Thinner crust, you can divide this in half. Thicker crust, keep it whole. You can pinch off some and make some breadsticks too if you like, and I think I will do that. I think I'd make one breadstick, a couple of breadsticks here, so there we go. Well, there we go. All right, so I'm just going to kind of sit this in some plastic wrap or on a cloth, a floured cloth. I'm just going to sit it aside for just a minute. Meanwhile, we're going to put a little butter or oil on our hands. And we're just going to spread this right back out, just like that. Don't put too much butter on it. You can make this round, square, whatever you like. it bounces back, that's fine, because it's going to raise and it's going to fill it up. Doesn't matter to me any. Alright. I just like a pizza to take the shape that it's supposed to take. That's just me. I'm popping some of the bubbles here. Might have to put something on here to make it keep its shape. It's starting to. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're just going to take a fork and we're just going to pierce it just like this. We're going to put this in the oven for about 4 to 5 minutes at 350 degrees. Just enough to kind of get this poofed up and a little pre-cooked, because and you can let this raise first before you do that. That's fine, but I'm hungry and I'm being impatient. Okay, I just got myself a little bit of flour here, and I'm just going to show you real quick how to make a breadstick here real quick. Get a little bit of flour on our hands. I kind of stretch it out like this just a little bit, and then I just start going like this and start rolling. You have to, just a little bit of flour, you don't, not a lot. In fact, that's too much. If you feel that you can't, feel like you can't grab a hold of it to roll it, there we go. And roll out like this, pull it out like this. All right, there's a breadstick. This is all the dough that I pinched off because I just wanted to show you how I do it. Lay these on a little bit of a floured surface and let them raise just like that here. And there we go. I'm just going to take my breadsticks. I'm going to, I don't know if you can see this or not. I'm going to brush the tray with just a little bit of butter here. Lay my breadsticks on here just like that. Trust me, they normally look better than that. By the time they raise, they would. Then you can take a little bit of butter, some spices, whatever you like. Even a little olive oil, that's fine. I like putting a little bit of cheese on mine. Just a little Parmigiano. Here's a little bit of crushed red peppers. You can put those on. I'll put some of those on John's. There you go. Making sure to keep mine away from his because I can't have that. That's way too much. Okay. Put on a little bit of basil. Just a little Italian seasoning, which for some reason I can't find. I must be out of it. These raised, covered. I'm going to let the breadsticks raise covered. And normally, like I said, I would have another batch here and I'd make a whole bunch of them. But I just wanted to show you how I roll out my breadsticks. I'm going to let these raise for about 20 minutes and I'm going to put these in the oven while I make my pizza toppings here. Alright, you can put your sauce on top, you can put your sauce on the bottom. I don't like a lot of sauce on mine and I like the thicker part of the crust. John likes the thinner crust. Well, he likes both, so it doesn't matter. I like my sauce to go all the way to the edges. That's up to you again. There you go. Now if I had raised this and I'd taken the time to actually raise my pizza dough, I wasn't so hungry, then this would have raised far more even. This just makes for a good breadstick. This dough is just so delicious. You can see it stretched back out there because the dough by no chance is done. Now, I don't like a lot of sauce on mine, so I'm going to leave a little bit of the sauce off here. Bring it all the way as far out to the edges as possible. That's the way I like it. How much sauce? Leave a comment below and let me know how much sauce you like on your pizza. John likes his saucy, so... Oh, saucy, so saucy. Toppings. It doesn't matter, whatever you like. I always start with the meat first. And I love goat's cheese, but I didn't have any goat's cheese. I was out of it. So a little bit of a chopped ham. You can put pineapple on here and make it a Hawaiian type pizza, a tropical type pizza. Mushrooms. I love mushrooms. Leave a message below. Let me know. What is your favorite topping on your pizzas? How do you like to make your homemade pizzas? Or if you order your pizzas, what do you like on your pizza? My dad used to order the mustaches, which is the anchovies. Oh, sorry, I'm just not that brave. What's next? I think I'll put the cheeses on next. This is just mozzarella cheese. Put on whatever kind of cheese you like and however much you like. Even like the Monterey Colby Jack. So I put a little bit of that on mine here. I'll put it on John. You want Colby Jack on your side, John, too?
Put on good.
Okay. And then I'm gonna put on the tomatoes. So add some color. You can put them on in the big slices. I didn't have big slices from my garden. This is what I have left. Next, we're going to put on some black olives. I love black olives, so my side's going to get extras. You know I put black olives on everything. I'm definitely, my mother was telling me yesterday that this is because I have some Italian. I have a little bit of Italian in my blood. Apparently I have a grandmother or a grandfather that took an Italian wife in the Amish when they came through Italy. So I have an Italian great-grandmother. Might explain some things about my eating habits. I'm just saying. I'm gonna top it with a little bit more of the Parmigiano, just a little bit. It's a flavor that I like, especially around these edges right here. I guess I should have buttered the edges first. Okay. Next, we're going to take a little bit of olive oil or butter. I like to mix it. So I'm going to add a little bit of butter and olive oil together here, just a little bit. There we go. Oops. Try not to get any of the sauce in it so you can see how good that looks. Just brushing the edges here. A little bit of the butter and olive oil mixed. Trust me, you cannot go wrong with this pizza crust recipe. Trust me. And like I said, if you'd let it raise, you'd have a really nice deep dish pizza, like you'd see like at Pizza Hut. Sure, it's a little extra work, but it's so worth it. Now I'm just going to take a little bit of basil, just a little bit. I'm just going to rub that right in here on top of my pizza because that's what I like. Oh, that smells so good. I should have got that from my garden. It smells a little bit like licorice. There's a little bit of Italian seasoning. We're going to do the same. I'm going to make sure to get those edges of the pizza. Need a little bit more than that. Doesn't that look great? Oh my goodness. So anything that you like, anything goes. Now we're going to take this over and put this in an oven at 300, what are we at? We're at 360 degrees. We're at 360 degrees, a little hotter than the 350 oven. If you're on a wood stove, then you want to try to maintain probably 350 to 360 as well. And if you're going to put this on a pizza stone, be sure and preheat the pizza stone. All right, I find that works best for this particular recipe. All right, so we're going to slip this in a 360 degree oven. I'll have to tell you the time, probably about 20 to 25 minutes. All right, this crust is pretty thick in areas. Now you can't tell me that that doesn't look delicious, okay? Now again, if I had let these raise and I'd made them a little bigger, they'd gotten bigger, but I didn't want to take that much dough off my pizza. Trust me, honey, I like my pizza, so I like a thicker dough. So, but you could do a double recipe of this, and again, you can freeze this as well, this dough. Okay, Daddy, come in here and give these breadsticks a try. Tell me what you think. Here you go.
This is the one with the spices on it.
Oh, yeah, I gotta do that. I forgot. Ooh, that was close. Make sure I didn't get any spices on mine even by accident.
Nope.
I don't like spices. Okay, here we go. We're gonna give that. Okay, we're gonna give that a try.
It's great.
I want to show you how this looks inside. A crunch that kind of pops in your teeth on the outside. Nice soft dough on the inside.
It's better than the breadsticks that we buy.
Oh, it's better than the breadsticks that you buy any place.
I would give it a 10. They're much better than the breadsticks that you buy.
Oh yeah. Anyway, this is my go-to dough recipe. You've got to give it a try. Pizza coming up next. I regret having not made more of these. Okay, we just pulled this out of the oven. I'm going to cut this. Oh yeah, hear that crunch on the bottom? Usually I'll let the pizza cool a few minutes, at least 5 minutes before you cut it. Make these slices however big you like them. Look at that. All right, we're going to give this a try. Come on over, John Boy. Here's your fork and a napkin. In fact, I want to show you that you can pick this up and eat it. It holds its own. See that? It holds its own. I'm just going to tear into it. Oh my goodness. Mushrooms on there. Could have a black olive for my first bite. Ah, it's stuck. Go ahead and take a bite.
It's great.
Perfectly done in the center. The bottom's crispy. Center is soft. Tastes just like a Pizza Hut dough, doesn't it?
It's good.
It's really, really good. All right, so give your hand a try at homemade pizza if you haven't done that yet. Like I said, this dough is perfect. You can make it thin and crispy. You can make it thick like we did here. It's just a beautiful dough. Crispy on the bottom with that olive oil and butter combination. Tastes absolutely delicious, having brushed it on the edges. Sprinkle a little basil, a little Italian seasoning on it, and you have yourself a delicious homemade pizza. All right. Goat's cheese would have got this a 10. I'm giving it a 10 either way because it's my fault I didn't get the goat's cheese. But yeah, this is absolutely delicious. Put on the toppings that you like, and you could serve this with a mild or a hot cheese sauce, pizza sauce, or leave it off altogether. It doesn't really matter. It's delicious. I give this a 10. What do you give it?
It's good. It's a 10.
It is. It's my go-to pizza dough recipe. So be sure and subscribe. Hit that thumbs up button. All right? Let us know that you're supporting our channel by hitting that thumbs up button. Leave a comment below. Let us know if there's a bread or something you would like to see next. And we hope that you've enjoyed this episode of our bread series. All right, coming up next is Maranatha Minutes. We love you. Go with God. Blessings.
Blessings.